Michael was the kind of man who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders but never let his little girl see him break. He was 36 years old, a single dad, and every day was a battle. Since losing his wife 3 years earlier, life had been nothing but an uphill climb. Bills stacked up on the kitchen counter like unwanted guests, and Michael worked 2 jobs, one at a local hardware store during the day and late-night janitorial shifts at an office building, to make sure there was always food on the table and a roof over their heads. His daughter, Lily, just 7 years old, was his entire world. She had her mother's big brown eyes and the kind of laugh that could light up a room. But Michael knew she missed the warmth of a mother's touch, the gentle way her mom used to braid her hair, and the soft voice that read her bedtime stories. Michael tried. He really did. But between exhaustion and stress, he often felt like he was falling short. That night, the rain fell hard against the streets of their small town. Michael had just finished his late shift, his clothes damp from running through puddles, when he noticed someone at the bus stop. A young woman sat there, drenched from head to toe, shivering in the cold. Her thin jacket clung to her shoulders, and her hair stuck to her face as she wrapped her arms around herself, waiting for a bus that probably wouldn't come until morning. Michael hesitated. He wasn't the kind of man to invite strangers into his life. He had Lily to think about, but something inside him tugged. Maybe it was the way she looked so lost, so vulnerable. He couldn't ignore it. He walked over and said gently, "Hey, are you okay? Do you have somewhere to go?" The young woman lifted her head, her eyes wide and filled with both fear and exhaustion. She shook her head slowly. "No, I don't," she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost trembling. Michael took a deep breath, his mind racing. Every logical part of him screamed, "Don't do this." He barely had enough for himself and Lily. But his heart, the part that remembered the kindness his wife used to carry, wouldn't let him walk away. "Look," he said after a pause, "I don't usually do this, but you can come stay at our place for the night. Just one night, somewhere warm. My little girl's at home, so it's safe. No funny business. Just a roof and a warm meal." The young woman's eyes welled with tears. She nodded, almost unable to speak. "Thank you," she whispered. And just like that, Michael made a decision that would change not only his life, but Lily's as well. Because what he didn't know was that this one night was about to turn into something far bigger, something that would test his heart in ways he never expected. But who was this mysterious young woman? And how would her presence shake the walls of Michael's fragile little world? Michael led the young woman through the dimly lit streets toward his modest apartment. The rain still poured, soaking his jacket, but all he could think about was whether he had made the right choice. He glanced at her from time to time, noticing how she walked with her head down, almost as if she didn't want to be seen. By the time they reached the small 2-bedroom apartment, Michael could already hear the faint sound of Lily's footsteps running across the living room floor. She must have been waiting for him, as she often did on nights he came home late. As soon as Michael opened the door, Lily darted over, her face lighting up. "Daddy," she squealed, wrapping her arms around his legs. But then her eyes caught sight of the stranger standing behind him. Lily tilted her head, curious. Michael bent down, stroking her hair gently. "Sweetheart, this is Anna," he said, glancing back at the young woman. "She needed a place to stay tonight. She'll only be here for one night, okay?" Lily, innocent and kind-hearted just like her late mother, didn't hesitate. She smiled shyly and waved. "Hi, Anna." Anna knelt down to Lily's level, her soaked clothes clinging to her frame. Despite her obvious exhaustion, her voice softened. "Hi, Lily. You have the most beautiful smile." Something shifted in that moment. Michael noticed how Lily's eyes brightened at the compliment, something she hadn't heard much since her mother passed. Later that evening, Michael heated up some leftovers, macaroni and cheese with a side of green beans. It wasn't much, but it was warm. Anna insisted she wasn't hungry, but the way her eyes lingered on the plate told another story. "Go ahead," Michael said firmly. "You need it more than I do." Hesitant at first, Anna finally picked up her fork. "Thank you," she murmured, and Michael could see genuine gratitude in her eyes. After dinner, Michael tried to get Lily ready for bed, But it was Anna who stepped in naturally, almost without asking. She helped Lily finish her math homework, patiently explaining how to carry numbers in addition. She read her a bedtime story, her voice steady, soothing, almost motherly. And when Lily asked if Anna could braid her hair like her mom used to, Anna hesitated for a second, then gently began weaving the strands with surprising skill. Michael stood quietly at the doorway, his arms crossed, watching. He felt something stir in his chest that he hadn't felt in a long time: peace. For the first time in years, Lily was smiling with that innocent, carefree joy he had missed so much. But even as he watched, his mind reminded him, she's still a stranger. Don't forget that. When Lily finally drifted off to sleep, Anna tucked the blanket around her and whispered, "Good night, sweet girl." Then she stepped out of the room, her face shadowed with something Michael couldn't quite read. Later, as they sat in the quiet living room, Anna kept mostly to herself. She didn't talk much about where she came from or why she was at that bus stop. But there was a heaviness about her, like she was carrying the weight of secrets she wasn't ready to share. Michael leaned back on the worn-out couch, studying her for a moment. "You're good with her," he said finally. Anna gave a faint smile but didn't meet his eyes. "She's easy to love." Those words lingered in the air, tugging at Michael's heart. But as the night went on, he couldn't shake the feeling that Anna was more than what she seemed. What was Anna hiding? And why did it feel like she fit so naturally into their little world? The next morning, Michael woke to the faint clatter of pans in the kitchen. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming. His mornings were usually chaotic, filled with rushing to get Lily dressed while scrambling to pack her lunch. But when he walked into the small kitchen, he froze. Anna was there. Still wearing her simple clothes from the night before, her hair loosely tied back, she was at the stove, flipping pancakes as if she belonged there. Lily sat at the table, swinging her little legs back and forth, already giggling at something Anna had said. Michael blinked, almost disoriented. "You didn't have to do that," he muttered. Anna turned, offering a shy smile. "I just thought I'd help. It's the least I can do." The smell of warm pancakes filled the apartment, something that hadn't happened in a long time. Michael, who usually just grabbed toast or cereal for Lily, couldn't remember the last time breakfast felt this comforting. Later that day, while Michael fixed himself a cup of coffee, he noticed Anna kneeling by the kitchen sink, fiddling with a wrench. The faucet had been leaking for weeks, something he hadn't had time or money to fix. But Anna, with surprising skill, tightened the pipe until the dripping stopped. She looked up, grinning almost playfully. "Guess I earned my breakfast." Michael chuckled under his breath. For a stranger, she certainly had a way of making herself useful. That afternoon, Anna walked Lily to school with Michael. On the way back, she shared little stories, carefully chosen ones he noticed, about places she had visited and people she'd met. She never said too much about her own family, and whenever the conversation drifted that way, she gently redirected. Michael didn't push. Something in her guarded tone told him she wasn't ready. By evening, Anna had braided Lily's hair again, this time with tiny ribbons Lily had dug out of an old drawer. Michael sat on the couch, watching his daughter beam. He hadn't seen her this happy in months. The laughter, the comfort, the warmth, it felt almost too good to be true. But that's what unsettled him. Because the more natural Anna fit into their world, the more Michael feared what it might mean when she inevitably left. That night, as he locked the front door, Michael found himself staring at the woman sitting quietly on the couch, flipping through Lily's picture books. Something inside him whispered that this wasn't just an ordinary girl down on her luck. He couldn't explain it, but he was about to learn the truth. Because the next day, Michael would discover exactly who Anna really was, and it would shake him to his core. The following morning started like any other. Michael woke up early, packed Lily's lunch, and tried not to think too much about how natural Anna had become in their routine. She was already helping Lily tie her shoelaces, humming softly, as if she had been a part of their mornings forever. On the walk to school, Lily held Anna's hand more tightly than Michael's. He noticed but said nothing. Maybe it was the motherly touch Lily had been craving. Maybe it was something else. Either way, it stirred emotions Michael wasn't ready to confront. After dropping Lily off, Michael swung by the corner store for milk. Inside, an older neighbor, Mrs. Green, a sharp-tongued woman who never missed a thing, noticed Anna standing by the door waiting for him. Her eyes widened, and her hand froze in midair. "My goodness," Mrs. Green gasped. Is that Anna Whitmore?" Michael frowned. "Who?" Mrs. Green leaned closer, whispering like she'd stumbled onto a scandal. "Anna Whitmore. The Whitmores. The family that owns half this town. They've been on the news for weeks, searching for their missing daughter." Michael's stomach dropped. He turned slowly toward Anna, who stiffened, her face pale, her jaw tight. She didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. When they stepped outside, Michael's voice was low but firm. "Is it true? Are you really her?" Anna stopped walking. The rain from the previous night had left puddles shimmering in the morning sun, but her eyes looked darker than ever. She took a shaky breath. Anna Whitmore. Michael's mind reeled. He remembered seeing the headlines in passing, how the daughter of a powerful, wealthy family had disappeared without a trace. Some said she'd been kidnapped. Others whispered scandal. And here she was, standing in front of him, in a borrowed sweater, holding a grocery bag like any ordinary young woman. "Why?" Michael demanded, struggling to keep his voice calm. "Why would you run from all that?" Her gaze fell to the sidewalk. "Because all that never felt like mine. I was suffocating. No choices. No freedom. Just expectations and pressure. I had to leave or lose myself completely." Michael didn't know what to say. On one hand, he understood. He knew what it felt like to struggle for control of your own life. On the other, this was no ordinary runaway. This was someone whose family could show up at his door at any moment, demanding answers. As they walked back to the apartment, Michael's heart pounded. He glanced at Anna, who now seemed both familiar and impossibly distant. And in that moment, one thought consumed him. What happens when her world collides with mine? Because Michael was about to face the fallout. And when family, power, and fear got involved, kindness alone might not be enough. Back at the apartment, Michael couldn't keep still. He paced the living room, his hands running through his hair. Everything he thought he knew about Anna had just been turned upside down. A runaway from a wealthy family, in his home. With his daughter, Anna sat quietly on the couch, her hands folded in her lap. She didn't look defensive, but she didn't look apologetic either. Just tired. Like she'd been carrying this weight for far too long. Michael finally stopped pacing. His voice was low but heavy. "Anna, you can't stay here. If your family finds you, if the authorities come knocking, this could get messy. I can't risk Lily getting dragged into something like that." At that moment, Lily came skipping out of her room, holding up a drawing she just finished. "Daddy, look, it's us," she said proudly. Michael's eyes softened as he looked at the crayon picture, 3 stick figures holding hands under a bright yellow sun. Him, Lily, and Anna. Anna blinked rapidly, holding back tears. "That's beautiful, Lily," she whispered, kneeling down. Lily grinned. "Do you like it? I put you in the middle because you're helping us smile again." Michael's chest tightened. He wanted to explain, to prepare his daughter for what was coming, but how could he? How could he tell her that the woman who'd braided her hair, read her bedtime stories, and brought laughter back into their home was about to leave? After Lily skipped off again, Michael turned to Anna. "See? That's the problem. She's already attached. And when you leave, and you will leave, it's going to break her heart." Anna swallowed hard. "Michael, I never planned to stay. But you need to understand, your home, your kindness, it gave me something I haven't felt in years. I'm not trying to hurt Lily. Or you." Michael shook his head, torn. Every fiber of him wanted to trust her, to let her stay, but his instincts screamed caution. "I can't let my little girl go through that kind of loss again. I won't." As he spoke, Lily's laughter echoed from her room. That sound, so rare these days, hit Michael like a knife. He couldn't remember the last time she had been this carefree. And suddenly, the conflict inside him grew unbearable. Push Anna away and protect his daughter from heartbreak, or let her stay a little longer and risk losing everything if the truth caught up to them. Michael knew a decision had to be made. But what would Anna do? And what truth about her pain was she still hiding? That night, after Lily had gone to bed, the apartment was quiet. The only sound was the faint hum of the refrigerator and the occasional car passing outside. Michael sat at the kitchen table, his face buried in his hands. He had replayed the entire day over and over, Mrs. Green's words, the headlines about the Whitmores, Anna's quiet confession. Across from him, Anna sat with her fingers wrapped around a mug of tea she hadn't touched. She looked small, fragile even, but there was a quiet strength in her eyes. Finally, she broke the silence. "Michael," she said softly, "I know what you're thinking. You don't trust me. You think I'm going to hurt you and Lily by being here. And maybe you're right." Michael lifted his head, his jaw tight. "Anna, it's not about me. It's about her. She's just a kid. She already lost her mom. I can't let her get attached to someone who's only passing through." Anna's eyes shimmered, and she set the mug down carefully. "You think I don't know what loss feels like? Michael, I may have grown up with money, but I was starving in a different way. Surrounded by people, yet completely invisible. Every decision made for me. Every step watched. Do you know what it's like to have the whole world see you, but no one actually know you?" Her voice cracked on the last words. Michael said nothing. He could see the raw pain behind her confession, pain he hadn't expected from someone who, from the outside, seemed to have everything. Anna continued, her tone trembling but determined. "When I left, I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I had to breathe. And when I ended up in your home, even for one night, I felt more peace than I ever did in all those mansions and grand dinners. Watching you with Lily, seeing how you fight for her, how you love her with everything you have, it made me realize something. That's the kind of life I want. Not the riches, not the name, just something real." Michael swallowed hard, his chest heavy. He wanted to believe her, but the weight of responsibility pressed down like chains. Anna leaned forward, her voice steady now. "I can't stay. I know that. But I need you to know, what you gave me wasn't just shelter. It was hope. And I'll carry that with me, no matter where I go." Michael looked down, his throat tight with emotion. For the first time in years, someone had seen the struggle behind his tired eyes and called it strength. Just then, Lily's small voice floated from the hallway. She had woken up, clutching her stuffed bear, her eyes sleepy but worried. "Daddy? Anna? Are you leaving?" Michael froze. Anna quickly wiped her tears, kneeling beside Lily. "No, sweet girl. Not tonight. I'm right here." But as Lily nestled into her arms, Michael knew it was only a matter of time. Anna's world and theirs couldn't stay together forever. And soon, the moment of goodbye would come. But Anna wouldn't leave without leaving behind something unforgettable. The next morning, the air in the apartment felt heavier than usual. Michael busied himself packing Lily's lunch, his hands moving automatically, though his mind was elsewhere. Anna stood quietly by the window, staring out at the street as if she were memorizing every detail. The rusted stop sign, the row of parked cars, even the faint sound of a neighbor's dog barking in the distance. When it was time to walk Lily to school, Anna held her hand the entire way. They talked about little things, Lily's favorite subject, the friends she wanted to invite to her birthday party, the new jump rope she had been practicing with. Anna listened intently, smiling, but Michael noticed the way her eyes lingered a little too long on Lily's face, as if she was trying to take every memory with her. After dropping Lily off, the silence between Michael and Anna was heavy. Finally, as they reached the apartment steps, Anna stopped. Her voice was calm, but her words carried weight. "Michael, I need to go back." He froze. "Back? To your family?" Anna nodded slowly. "Yes, but not because I want their life again. I need to face them, to stop running, to tell them that I'm going to live on my own terms, even if they don't approve. If I don't go back, I'll always be hiding. And that's no way to live." Michael studied her, torn between relief and sadness. "And what about Lily?" Anna's eyes softened. "She gave me something no one else ever could. She reminded me what love looks like, what home feels like. That's why I have to go. Because I can't take that away from her, or from you. You both gave me hope when I had none." That evening, when Lily came home from school, Anna sat her down gently. "Sweetheart," she began softly, "I have to go away for a while." Lily's face crumpled. "No, you can't. You promised you'd be here." Tears streamed down her cheeks, and Michael's heart ached at the sight. Anna hugged her tightly, whispering, "I know it hurts. But I promise you this isn't the end. Sometimes people have to leave so they can come back stronger. One day, our paths will cross again. I believe that with all my heart." Lily clung to her, sobbing into her shoulder, until exhaustion finally took over. Michael carried her to bed, but even in her sleep, she murmured Anna's name. Later, as Michael stood at the door watching Anna prepare to leave, a deep ache settled inside him. He knew this was the right choice, but that didn't make it any easier. Anna turned to him one last time. "Michael, thank you for trusting me even when you didn't have to. You showed me what real strength looks like. I'll never forget this." Michael swallowed hard, nodding. "Take care of yourself, Anna." And with that, she stepped out into the night, her figure fading into the streetlights until she was gone. But what Michael didn't know was that this wasn't the last time he'd hear from her. Because weeks later, a gift would arrive that would change everything for him and Lily. The days after Anna's departure were quiet. Too quiet. Michael noticed it most in Lily. She still laughed, still played, still skipped down the hallways of their apartment building, but there was a shadow behind her joy. Sometimes at bedtime, she would whisper, "Daddy, do you think Anna will really come back?" And every time, Michael would pull her close, stroke her hair, and answer softly, "I don't know, sweetheart. But what matters is that she loves you. And love doesn't just disappear." Michael threw himself into work, pushing through long shifts at the hardware store and the late-night cleaning jobs. He kept their little home running as he always had, but deep down, he couldn't shake the memory of the young woman who had walked into their lives for just one night and left an imprint he knew would last forever. Then, one crisp Saturday morning a few weeks later, a knock came at the door. Michael frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone. When he opened it, no one was there. Only a neatly wrapped package sat on the mat, with a white envelope resting on top. He brought it inside, Lily trailing behind him with wide, curious eyes. Together, they opened the envelope. Inside was a letter, handwritten in delicate, flowing script. "Dear Michael and Lily, by the time you read this, I will have returned to my family. Not because I wanted their world again, but because your kindness gave me the courage to face mine. I'm no longer running, because you showed me what strength looks like. Michael, you reminded me that resilience isn't about wealth or power, it's about love. The way you love Lily is the kind of love I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And Lily, sweet Lily, you gave me laughter again. You reminded me that even strangers can feel like family. I hope one day we'll meet again. Until then, please accept this small gift. It's not enough to repay what you gave me, but I hope it helps light your future the way you lit mine. With all my heart, Anna." Michael's hands trembled as he unfolded the rest of the letter. Inside the package was a folder filled with paperwork, documents of a scholarship fund established in Lily's name. Enough to cover her schooling for years to come. Enough to give her opportunities he had once feared he could never afford. Lily gasped, her eyes widening. "Daddy, Anna did this for me?" Michael hugged her tightly, his voice thick with emotion. "Yes, sweetheart. She did. Because sometimes, even people we only know for a moment can change our lives forever." As he held his daughter, Michael felt something he hadn't in a long time: hope. Not the kind that depended on luck or miracles, but the kind born from kindness, proven by the truth that even a single act can ripple into something far greater. And in that moment, he realized that Anna had been right. Their paths had crossed for a reason. And while she was gone, her presence still lived with them, in their laughter, in their love, and in the gift of possibility she had left behind. Because sometimes, one night really can change everything. Moral of this story: sometimes the people we least expect, even strangers, can remind us of love, hope, and the beauty of kindness. It only takes one act of kindness to completely change someone's life. We never truly know what battles strangers are fighting, but compassion has the power to heal wounds we can't see. Michael gave Anna a roof for just one night, but in return, she gave him and Lily hope that would last a lifetime. So remember, the smallest choices you make today, holding the door, offering a smile, lending a helping hand, can ripple into something bigger than you'll ever realize. Be kind, because kindness always finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of love, hope, and humanity. And remember, we're not just telling stories. We're changing lives.